All right. Welcome to episode 16 of the Bully Roundtable. I'm your host, Lawrence EBK Conway. It's my co-host.
Tony Gold from Wait and Gold Kennels.
We got my man Damien on the text, and we have a guest tonight, Vanessa Cordova. Vanessa, go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself and who you are and what you do.
Okay. I'm Vanessa Cordova. I have Space City Frenchies and Swap Bullies. I'm out of Houston, Texas. And we do mostly color Frenchies and bullies. Nothing too special.
How long have you been into breeding dogs? What was your first breed? Just tell us what got you started, what breed you started with, what got you into the bullies and the bulldogs, and how many years you've been doing this.
Man, I'm still considered like a rookie. I've only been doing it for about 5 years. Not even, like 4 years. And I started off, I just bought a dog like as a pet. He was like Juan Gotti. I didn't even know anything about it. I just liked the dog, so I bought him. And then I got another female. She was just some Texas blood, some Rolex, some Gillette, just edge, basically, just an edge dog. So then that female that I she came out to be like, back in the day, 4 or 5 years ago, whenever she matured, she came out to be a nice dog. She was a nice female. She had a long muzzle. She had a boxy muzzle. So somebody was like, hey, you should breed her. I bred her, and I had puppies. And then I ended up getting another female, a little Dachshund female. And she's still like a very much a part of, what we did with our program. So I got her and I bred her to Deuce Bigelow. And that was 3 times Miyagi to a Dax female. And from there well, before that, I got another female, another little Razor's Edge female. She was real short, and we bred her to West Coast Gotti. That's my husband. Lay hi.
Hey, how you doing, man?
I don't think he knew this had already started. But babe.
Hey, what's up, babe?
That's Mr. Swap Bullies.
What up?
Hey, what's up, man?
How you doing, brother?
So we got Diablita and we bred her to a West Coast Gotti boy. Are y'all familiar with West Coast Gotti's Young Money? Yeah, I can't hear y'all.
Sorry, I had it muted because I'm promoting right now.
Oh, okay. So yeah, so it's we bred her to West Coast Gotti's Young Money. I mean Young Money's brother, and we got this dude right here, Magnum. I don't know if y'all can see him. They basically follow me everywhere. This so him and a few females. I kept him and his sister Reina. She lives in Spain now. But that's basically like my program was based off of West Coast Gotti. Like after that one female that I got started with on the edge blood, I never really ran a lot of edge in my program. Here in Houston, a lot of people have Playboy blood. Like a lot of people, because Eddie lives here in Houston, and we just never, or Kryptonite. Like a lot of this. Houston is like oversaturated with Kryptonite, and we didn't really get on that trip. We just started off with like West Coast Gotti. We bred a West Coast Gotti dog to 2 times Bullseye, and then 3 times Miyagi, and then I got a Bullseye daughter. I don't know. I just feel like everything in this game has went so fast for us. Like we started off just like not even just having pets, and now 3 years later we have like 8 dogs and 4 Frenchies. I don't know. It's just very strange to me. We're not like old school breeders, you know, we're still considered, I guess, like a newbie.
Tone, that you could have took over, Tone. I'm over here promoting.
I'm sorry.
So basically, you chose to go more towards an exotic style than the more traditional American Bully style.
Yeah, like when I first got into the dogs, you know, like still a dog with an underbite was like really flawed, you know. And whenever I chose to breed my female to a dog with an underbite, a lot of people were like, "Man, that's not gonna be a good breeding. You shouldn't have bred to him. He has a kink tail." And I always just been kind of like, I'm gonna do whatever I like. I'll breed to the standard that I like, you know. I don't like a dog with a snipey muzzle or, you know, like that's lacking body. I like a dog with bigger bone, a boxier muzzle, and a big head. But
Hey, Lawrence, you're muted.
That was one of the reasons why I asked you to come on, because I know you're doing something different. You're also a female in the game. I just wanted to get a little bit of your perspective and why you chose to go with that blood. How did you get into the Frenchie?
well, I've always wanted a Frenchie. Like before I had bullies, I just liked them. And I would always tell my husband, like, I want a Frenchie. And he'd say, no, those dogs are ugly. Their ears are ugly, this and that. They're annoying. And I don't know, one day I was like, you know what? I'm just going to buy this dog. So I bought one. And, like, I put a little bit of research into the Frenchies before I got into it. Like, the bullies, I kind of just, like, got in. And, you know, I didn't really know anything about the bloodlines at all. I just got into the bullies. I got a dog, and I just kind of fell into it. But the Frenchies, I put more research into what I was going to buy. I wanted a Frenchie that still looks like a Frenchie, but not a standard Frenchie. Because, you know, you have different kind of Frenchies. You have, like, exotic Frenchies. You have just standard AKC Frenchies, and then you have Frenchies that are just a little bit bully, but not too extreme. So that's what I wanted. I wanted just a Frenchie, you know, with a little bit of heavier bone, a little bit of a spread, but not too much, and I wanted the color gene. So that's basically what I based my program on, is the structure of a bullier dog, but with the color genes.
Awesome. Now, the blood that you went with, Vanessa, was it blood from the U.S. or was it, you know, blood from overseas, Hungarian, Russian? Was it a combination?
It is from overseas. It's Hungarian, like female. My female, Fifi. She's like my foundation female. She her dad is Menace from Sierra Albert's yard out in California, and the mom is Dory. And Dory is Chuck Taylor's sister. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Frenchie names.
I mean, not really. I mean, some Frenchies I know, but you know, it's nothing I really like follow.
Yeah. She's
I know Sylvia Gomez's Frenchies.
Oh, she has nice ones too.
Yeah, she has some real nice dogs.
Yes, she does. She does a lot for she shows. I don't really show my Frenchies. I don't really even show my bullies. I host shows and I do shows, but like when I go to the shows, I don't have time to show my own dog. My dogs are just like sitting over there. Not, you know, I don't even take them out at the show. I'm always
now, with you breeding the exotic blood, I'm glad like somebody that breeds exotics will come on. But you breeding exotic blood, do you focus on fat or function?
Like, I mean, our dogs that we have here, like I have a little dog, her name is Soledad. She's West Coast Gaudi and 3 times Miyagi. Like, she's short, like a midget, you know, but that dog has drive for days. Like, she runs circles through our backyard. And we have our other little dog. Her name is Plata. She's 3 times Bullseye and West Coast Gaudi, and she's like, none of my dogs are those dogs that you see just like, laying on their ass. They function. They function. They run. They jump. Some of my exotic dogs can outlast Magnum, my bully. So
You got me curious. I'm ready to see some of these exotic dogs.
you want to see?
You got me
we
curious.
got time.
now.
We'll be on to 11, so we got plenty of time. Like if you want to bring them out, we got plenty of time for that.
Let me tell him to bring Soledad over here.
I just want to pick your brain a little bit.
Like
Work?
when we do our breedings, obviously, I'm a breeder. Like I breed dogs to what's marketable. I'm not going to breed a dog that's not desirable to the market that we have right now. We are all in this. It doesn't matter what anyone says. Everyone does this because you can make money off of it. Like, all bullshit aside. If someone says, "Oh, I only do it because it's the love of the dogs," really, because these dogs cost me a lot of money every month. Like, in dog food alone, I spend like $700 just on dog food. That's not including raw, milk, supplements, anything. So if you tell me that you're doing it just for love, no, sorry.
Well, I can say honestly, there's one person on this panel that does it for the love. Tony spends his own money on his dogs.
My bill is probably close to $2,000, if not more, every month.
No.
Compared to dogs.
See, I don't have a lot of dogs. Like, I have...
And I don't even breed as much for as many dogs I have. I mean, I have a couple breedings a year, if that. And,
yeah.
I'm in it to preserve a breed, to create a breed. The American Bully is still young and still needs a lot of improvement. So, for myself, I'm always...
I read USBR really hard. Like, that's who... The shows I host are USBR shows. They have a confirmation for the exotic bully. And so, I mean, that's one of the reasons that I chose to go with USBR and become a rep for them.
So they actually came up with a standard and all of that. I think I saw that before.
Yeah, I saw the standard too.
They have a micro exotic, and then they have just exotic. So you have two, because there is, there's exotic dogs that are bigger, and then there's exotic dogs that are smaller. And they actually wrote a class for them.
All right, Damon, we got any questions over there?
Yeah, we actually got a question to do what she was about to do a second ago. Somebody wants to see everybody's dog. Said he's new to the show. He wants to see what you guys think, what you guys have as far as what an example of American Bully is.
My dogs are outside, so.
All Tone's dogs are outside.
They're in the building, so.
I show my dogs on other videos. Vanessa could show her dogs. My dogs are in plenty of the other videos. I got a female heat, and I don't want to pull her out while my other males are in here. But
I'll bring my dogs out in a minute.
Go to the next question. And while we do that, we'll keep going, and then when you come back, we'll show your dogs.
Yeah, I'll bring one of them out right now.
Okay. Go ahead, Damien.
We got a question. They want to know, are you breeding to the standard in your American Bullies, or are you breeding to the exotic standard?
It's because I have two kinds of bullies. I have exotic bullies, and then I have like what I consider to be standard bully. He's not ABKC standard. He's USBR standard. But yeah, I mean, I do those kind of breedings, and I do exotic breedings. I mean, last year I did Dax, Krupp, Dax, and 3 times Freak Show. It was inbred Dax to inbred Freak Show, and that's all Dax blood. So Dax blood is just.
And she kind of answered that question because she just a couple minutes ago she stated she breeds to the market.
Yeah.
So she's breeding to what is marketable, what's popular at the moment, and what she could sell. So That basically answers the question.
Right. Yeah, that's what I was just typing while she was talking.
I mean,
um,
you know, like I have a lot of different. Hold on, someone ring my doorbell. Give me a second.
Go ahead, Damien.
okay, I think she'll be better to answer this question, but this is the only other question I have right now. Is they wanted to know why she thought the exotic movement was so big in Texas.
What?
What's the reason you think the exotic movement is so big in Texas?
Everything is bigger in Texas.
Hell no.
Hey.
Somebody lied to you.
No, I mean like here in Texas, it kind of just like came in, you know. Here in Houston, especially, you have a lot of people, and there's a lot of people in the bully community here in Houston. And there's still people that, you know, they don't breed exotics. They just have, you know, regular, still just American bullies. I think the exotic movement came in really big here in Houston personally, just because of the dogs that we had here. Like Deuce Bigelow, he's here in Houston. We have Macchiato here in Houston. We have a lot of Gamble blood here, a lot of Bullseye, a lot of Miyagi, a lot of Dax, you know, so it just came into play, you know, all of those bloodlines, when they're bred together, they create exotic dogs. If you breed Bullseye to Miyagi, you know, you're gonna get that certain look. It's not a standard look. It's a certain look that people want. If you breed, you know, 3 times Miyagi male to a Dax female, you're gonna get exotic dogs. It just, you know, I think it came in Houston so hard just because of the people that are here and the dogs that are here. And I know whenever we go to shows like outside of Houston, you still see a lot of standard dogs, you know, like especially in other areas that aren't so populated, there's not like exotics like there is here in Houston.
Now, being a part of the exotic culture, when you see those dogs with the fronts and the dogs that have to be helped, you know, to be held up and things like that.
That's not cool. Like, you know, I still like tight feet. I like my dogs to have tight feet. I don't like my dogs to have high rear. You know, there's certain things in the exotics that I see that I think, you know, people shouldn't be breeding. You know, like if your dog has completely horrible feet, you know that's a genetic thing. You know, everyone that breeds dogs knows that that's genetics, is the sloppy feet. So there are things that I see, you know, like, I mean, if you want tight feet, Bullseye is a perfect way to go. To be honest, like those Bullseye dogs have tight feet. A lot of Miyagi dogs, they can be Easty Westy, but it just depends on the way you breed. It doesn't really.
Well, not just the Easty Westy. It's like if you look at a lot of the videos, like the fling bling videos and things like that, and you look at a lot of the dogs that they have on the tables, and how like some of the dogs need 2 people to hold them up because they just can't hold themselves up. I saw a video the other day. It's I don't know the dog's name. It's a little tiny dog. He looks just like that, and the guy was playing with him with the rope, and the dog fell over. Like the dog couldn't even support his own weight, and he wasn't like obese or nothing like that. And so when you see things like that, I mean, as an exotic breeder, do you like deal with people like that, or do you try to like steer those people in the right direction, or do you just like not worry about it? Like I don't really know anybody that breeds exotic, so like I got like a lot of questions. I'm pretty sure a lot of people got a lot of questions that they want to know.
Me is I'm not out in the community. You know what I mean? Like I'll do my shows or whatever, but you never see me kicking it with anybody else. You know, I stay to myself.
Right.
Because it's just, it's better like that. It's less drama. Like, you're never gonna see me chilling with at another breeder's house or whatever, unless we're doing a breeding. That's it. And like when people have,
even with that, when it comes to that, when it comes to doing breedings, do you shy away from those type of breeders, or do you just look at it as like that's what they?
If I don't like your female, I'm not gonna breed to your dog.
Mm-hmm.
Or, you know, if that's just the way it is. You know, if you hit me up and you're like, hey, I want to breed this female to your male, and if like I don't think she will complement my male, I won't do the breeding.
Okay. Okay. Tony, you got any questions?
I'm not gonna be an asshole and tell somebody, hey, bro, your dog's ugly. You know.
Tony, you got any questions?
No.
Okay. Damien, any questions over there?
Yeah, we got another question about the exotics. It says, being that you're an exotic breeder, I found it very interesting. Can you tell me some of the things that moved you away from the normal American Bully, which you've already said the market drives you basically. But the second part of the question is, what's the average lifespan of one of your dogs?
Well, since I've only been breeding for like 4 years, all my dogs are still alive. So
that's good.
I thought
some of them don't make it 2 years, so that's good. Yeah, that's the thing. That's the biggest. I think that's besides the immobility of the dogs, and I'm not talking about like I see when people attack the exotic breeders about their dogs not being able to move. They make videos of the dogs moving, but the dogs are moving like they really struggling to move. So,
I mean, me personally, I don't want a dog that I have to help, you know, move around.
Right.
I wanted that or have a baby, you know.
Right.
It's like, I want a dog that's able to run, play, and enjoy its life. So, I mean, I can't answer questions about other people, like why are they breeding?
Right.
I mean, it's really none of my business, like how they breed their dogs. I worry about the way I breed and what my productions look like.
That I agree with that. I agree with that, but I don't think it's none of your business, because if you're part of the development of a breed and you take it serious, then everybody's input counts. Not that you have any control over it or you should like butt yourself in it. I'm not saying like that, but
the thing I have learned, like, you know, a lot of people hit me up for advice, like a lot of times. Hey, Vanessa, I'm trying to, you know, get into the Frenchies. What Frenchie should I go to? I'll send them to whoever I think, you know, has a good bloodline, you know, for the price they're charging. You know, just ask me so many questions. And then they go do, like, the exact opposite of what I recommend. So then it's like, why did you waste, you know, like, you know, the 3 or 4 hours of my life that I was talking to you, you know, just to go do the exact same opposite that I told you not to do.
Right.
You think
well, that's
that could be
for you.
Tony, you was talking?
Yeah, I mean, that's just this community for you. I mean, that's how it is with me. I mean, I get hit from morning till night with questions and calls, and people just do the opposite, and then when their breeding is a failure, they're right back at me, oh, you were right, I should have listened to you, but, you know,
I mean,
these things.
that has happened. But, I mean, again, you know, like, I stick to myself. You know, I'm not in nobody's inbox or anything, you know, giving them tips on how to breed their dog. Just for the simple fact that if I tell you to breed this dog to that dog and it comes out bad, I don't want you to be like, oh, well, Vanessa told me that it will work out.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
when you give advice to people in this game, I think that a lot of times they listen to your advice, and then when they figure out that it's going to cost them more money than they realized it was going to cost them, then they go to plan B.
That's a lot of thing in this game too, is, you know, like, a lot of people, you know, they don't want to spend the money and invest in their program. Like me personally, I think that you should invest in your females. Whatever your vision is, you need to find yourself a female with what you want to do to your program. You know, I'm still new to this. I know for a fact that it's 60% from your female and 40% from your male. So if you get a sloppy, you know, messed up female and you think you're going to breed her to, you know, a top name stud and you're going to come out with these hitters, it's not going to work. You know, invest your money into a good quality female.
Yep. Damien, we got anything?
Yeah, we do. Next question is, can you explain a little bit about the market in Texas for Frenchies and exotics? Looking to get into the breeding, I would like some information.
I mean, like, I can't say it will be the same for you as it is for me, but I don't have a problem selling my dogs. You know, I can post up a dog and sell it in like a day or two. So it's not really, the market for me isn't bad, but I can't say that because I've helped other people, you know, like, oh, you want to breed your dog to my dog, I'll help you sell the puppies, and I end up having to sell all the puppies for them. So, I mean, it's about how you market yourself, how you advertise yourself, how you carry yourself in the public. You know, that has a lot to do with your business.
Yep. People don't realize you can't wait until you got puppies to be visible and become part of the community. You can't.
You have to.
Business. You can't make it a problem for if people asking you for more than you think that they should be asking you for. If they're gonna spend money with you, then you gotta do, you know, what you gotta do, and people don't get that. Spending money on merchandise that with your logos and the cards and the banners and all of that stuff has a lot to do with your market, because the market is as big as it is, but you gotta realize it's broken into so many pieces. So you gotta find where your market is and your niche. Just because she gets whatever she gets for her puppies and sells them as quick as she sells them, you could have puppies directly over the same stuff that she has and not be able to sell those puppies or get even close to the amount of money that she gets for her puppies, because people know who she is and they know what, you know, they can expect from her, and she has a name in it again. So it won't be the same. Your market is, you have to find your market and target your market, and that's how you become successful.
To be honest, like me, I value my name. You know, like, people, they'll say, oh, you know, I'm nervous about sending the deposit. First off, I am not going to rip anybody off for $500. I'm sorry. That's my deposit on most of my stuff. To hold a puppy is $500. I am not going to run my name for $500. Just not going to do it.
That's cheap.
And I mean, and people will be like, well, you know, whenever I have puppies and I'm like, you know, I'm selling them, and if you don't send the deposit, I'm sorry, I'm going to move on to my next customer, because scared money don't make money. I mean, that's just the way it happens. That's everything in life. Can you bring me a charger? Yeah.
So you want to touch on that before we move on?
No.
Go ahead, David.
Okay. Says being that you're into the exotic movement, can you explain to us a little bit about your vision for the breed as well as the Frenchies? And also, can you explain a little bit about how you see the breed evolving over the next few years?
I mean, personally, me with the exotics, my vision is to have a dog. You know, I want to have a dog that has that wow factor, but that's also able to live a happy dog life. You know, run, jump, play, run after a ball. I like my dogs to have, you know, their face has a lot to do with their look. You know, if they have to have like a look in their face, and then that has to match their body, because I mean, you can have an exotic looking dog from the face and then his body just looks weird, you know, like skinny from the back, sloppy feet. I like my dogs to be thick all the way from the shoulders to the rear. I don't like weak rears on my dogs at all. Tight feet is a must. Wide fronts, I like more of a bowed out look, you know, not too extreme bowed out, but I would like bowed out fronts with tight feet. thick, full rear. The tail, I mean, personally, like, I like my dogs to have a tail, but only 2 of my dogs in my whole yard have tails. That's just what you get when you breed exotics. I mean, it comes with the.
Now, can I ask you something? Are you worried that all these deformities that you tend to lean towards will affect your dog's lifespan in the long run, like the bowed legs? And, you know, do you think that when it comes time and the dog turns 7 or 8, you're going to have, you know, issues with the dog being in pain? Or
I mean, I don't think that you would have issues like that. As long as you're taking care of the dog, I mean, any dog that old is going to have some kind of pain, you know? But I think if you take care of your dog, you feed your dog well, you make sure your dog has the sufficient nutrients that its body needs, you know, take your dogs to the vet. I see so many people posting on Facebook asking, oh, what's wrong with my dog? You think your dog is sick? Take your dog to the vet. I mean, that's the best thing I can tell people. If you're really concerned about the health of your dog, take your dog to the vet. Get it to the vet. Get it checked up. You know, you can catch things before it starts happening.
But see, if the dog already has deformities from an early age, that's just not right. There's certain structure. There's socket development and ligament issues with these dogs because everything is not formed properly. So if you have something with bowed out legs or overloaded shoulders, then everything is not aligned properly. So there's nothing but bad to come of it in the long run. These are the issues I have with the exotic movement. You know, with the correct dog, like you said, all dogs that sometimes have pain, but they don't. I have dogs at 10 years old that they'll still go chase coyotes at 10 years old or, you know, or hang off of a spring pole. So a dog that is structured correctly isn't going to have the pain of a dog that, let's say, is overloaded in the shoulders or straight stifled or has splayed feet or has the bowed legs. So those are my issues, like with the exotic movement and the exotic breeders, because a lot of them just don't know what they're breeding for. They're just not educated on, you know, what a healthy dog is. So that's why we have these questions to just try to get people's views on what they're shooting for long term. Because exotic, you know, there aren't. Let's face it, exotics aren't really living that long.
Like, okay, if you want to know answers to those questions, you should ask someone that's been breeding exotic dogs for that long. I'm not the person to answer that question for you. Because, I mean, I don't know. I breed my dogs, you know, I make sure they're healthy. Like, in all of the breedings I've done, I've only had one dog that had hip dysplasia. And that wasn't caused from him being an exotic. That was caused because someone squished him. I mean, like, I'll bring one of them out right now, and you can see her run down.
You bring them up.
So you have tested your dogs are OFA tested, or you do test for hip dysplasia?
Yes, before I sell a puppy to someone, I will take the dog to the vet and check. You know, like, I get my dogs checked out, checked for hip dysplasia, checked for, you know, like, we had one that was walking funny. We thought that she might have like swimmers, but it turned out not to be that, and she was fine. I held her until she was 6 months old, and we were able to see like the hard bone x-ray to make sure she didn't have hip dysplasia, and then I sold her.
But hip dysplasia really can't be determined till the dogs are 2 years or older. I mean, they're probably doing x-rays, but that really doesn't show whether the dog has hip dysplasia or not. You know, that they're just checking to see if what they can see as a puppy. And a puppy, it's hard to see things. That's why with any of the testing, you know, they want your dog to be a minimum of 2 years old, you know, when everything is fully developed.
Right.
Hey man, we got anything over there?
Yeah.
Wait, Vanessa, did you bring one of the dogs out?
No, I haven't. I have to go get
Okay,
it.
yeah, whenever you get time, we got time.
I'm gonna tell my kid to do it right now when he comes back over here.
Go ahead, Damien.
Okay, it says, given that you breed, one of the key things you look for when you breed is marketability. Can you give us kind of a little bit of explanation on why the exotic breed price range is so high? When a good quality American Bully you can get for around $2,000 to $3,000, and you have exotics going from anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000. Can you give us your opinion on why that is?
I don't know what that is because I have the highest price I've ever sold a bully for was $6,000, and he was already like 9 months old. So I cannot tell you why other people charge that much for their prices. I just dropped a 3 times bullseye litter. I sold every puppy for $2K. So I mean,
I can answer that a little bit. A lot of breeders lie about how much they're getting for their puppies.
Right.
So
he brings
They
so
breed
that-
them.
when they lie about the prices and the amounts that they get for the puppies, it drives the market, and that's the expectation that people have to pay for these dogs when they call these breeders, because that's the way it's put out there. But I know of a lot of people that bought exotics, they not paying that type of money for these dogs. A lot of these dogs are being given to people, sold for $1,000 and stuff like that. They're not charging that much. There's only select breeders that are able to get that kind of money for dogs. Just like in American Bullies, there's only select breeders that can charge over $2,000 for a puppy. Everybody says that their puppies are $2,500 to this much, but they're not really selling the dogs for that much. That's just what they tell you when you ask how much it is. But in the end, when you pay for the dog, it's not that much. So it's only a small amount of breeders that get that kind of money for dogs.
To be honest, like, okay, me, whenever I did the 3 times bullseye breeding, I was like, I'm just gonna do it to show love because a lot of people want that blood. A lot of people, you know, wanted a puppy from that litter, but a lot of people cannot go out and drop, you know, $4,000 or $5,000 on a puppy. Don't get me wrong, like I've sold other, you know, my 3 times Miyagi dogs. I mean, those I sold them for $3,000 to $4,000, but I've never sold a bully for over $6,000. Never. Like, I mean, if someone offered me 10 for Soledad, I would take it, but she's not, you know, I'm not trying to sell her. And I think that, you know, I think he's right. A lot of people, you know, a lot of people lie about how much they sell their dogs for.
You want to know how much people are selling dogs for? Find people that will keep it real about how much they pay for their dogs.
Hey, beautiful. That's Soledad. She's really, really, like, really hyper. She'll jump all over my couches if I let her.
What is she now?
She's 3 times Miyagi and West Coast Gotti.
And what is that black dog, the one behind her?
That's I told you she's crazy.
That's the Gotti. That's one of her. I guess that's American Bullies from her Gotti breeding.
I like him.
I know that's
Yeah, he looks good.
West Coast Gotti.
I like him.
Yeah, he's my favorite. I mean, I still breed him. See what I tell you? Look where she's at.
Get done.
You see that?
Get done.
Okay, that's he's one of that. Yes, I love you too.
Man, I like him.
Hey, hey. She's super.
Nah, that's something I try to stay away from. That hyperness.
She's very, but she's still a puppy. You know, she's only 8 months old, so.
Some people it doesn't bother. I just get annoyed by that.
It is annoying. Magnum, come here, Papa. This is Magnum. I mean, really, to be honest, he's like my first, you know, production that, like, from one of, you know, the first breeding that I consider myself like a breeder to. He is like my first one.
He looks like a big boy.
He's about 14 or 15 inches tall, and he weighs about 65 pounds. His head is 24 inches. Oh, that's Fifi. She's rotten.
I say he like 16.
I didn't hear you.
No, to me, he looks a little bigger than that.
He might
I like him.
have measured him. I think he might be 15, 16.
He looks about 16.
Yeah, that's what he looks like to me. He looks bigger than 65 pounds.
No, he went to the vet 2 weeks ago and he weighed 67 pounds.
Really? Wow. He looks like a thick boy.
He's very thick. He has a lot of bone.
Good boy.
And he has a big old butt.
I like him. Damon, what's up? What we got going on over there?
Next question is, let's see here. Next question we have is for Tony. Tony, they want to know, is that pup that you posted still available? I guess they don't want to hit you on Facebook. In addition to that, they want to ask you a show question. They want to know, are there going to be any tutorials on how to handle your dog in the show ring on any shows this season?
At any shows?
Yeah. Any shows you're associated with, I'm assuming. They didn't put that in there.
I don't know, probably. We usually do something at shows. There's some of us will do like handling classes either the night before or the show of. It all depends on the show host on what they want to do. You know, I'm sure this now that the weather is broke, you know, and we're getting a little bit nicer weather, Lawrence and I will probably do some videos, some educational videos on how to stack your dog, how to handle things to do with them. I mean, I'm sure we'll be coming out with some videos to help everyone out, to kind of guide them in the right direction. As far as the pup, he is available. I do have a home in mind for him. So he's possibly not available, but you know, till I get a deposit or whatever, everything's always available. So yeah, but he's a nice pup. He's got a lot of bone. He reminds me of my Hellboy dog, same breeding that produced him. So I think he's probably going to be a 17-inch standard, 17.5-inch, and probably like his brother Hellboy, probably 90 to 100 pounds. You know, 17-inch frame. So would a Hellboy had a 25-plus head. Well, we'll see. I just want him to go to a good home that'll be able to use him. He was actually sold twice, and you know, he's back up on the market.
I can vouch for that, definitely. I never believed him when he told me that, and then he took him to the vet and did a video. And he was 97 and some change.
And that's under 2 years old. He wasn't even finished growing.
Yeah.
Yep. And his legs were as thick as my arms.
They were. They definitely were. Go ahead, Damien.
Okay, this question you guys kind of already answered the other day, but they kind of added a little twist to it I'm going to go ahead and answer it. It says, ask it. It says, with the breed being pulled and pushed in so many different directions, you guys talked about previously that technically we're still working to develop the breed. So with that being said, how do we clean up the breed as far as health issues when we're still adding exotics, Frenchies, Bulldogs into it to gain mass? Will we do it with selective breeding? Will we practice just being honest and telling the truth and just moving forward? Or is there something that you guys can offer or recommend?
Well, I'll start with answering that question. Like, you know, with the exotic thing, you know, that's one of the issues I have. If you're going to breed an exotic and it's going to carry a different look, just register it as an exotic. That's the best way to do. You have to separate the two. But unfortunately, you have guys that are incorporating Frenchie and English Bulldog, and these dogs just look so far from what the American Bully should be but they're still being registered as pit bulls or American bullies. So I think we need to start with just separating the two, which I guess the USBR has taken that step, correct?
Yeah.
So it's taking that step in separating the two. Hold on one second.
I think it has to be done one breed at a time. Like if
Sorry
Vanessa,
about that.
if Vanessa breeds exotics, like she said, she's not worried about what nobody else is doing, but she has to make sure that what she's doing is not gonna hurt the breed, and each person does. That's the only way it's gonna change. You by yourself doing whatever is not gonna change nothing. Everybody has to worry about themselves and don't contribute to the nonsense. But until that happens, ain't nothing gonna change. There's nothing you can do on your own besides worry about your own yard and do what's right in your own yard.
Yeah, it's got to be the registries have to take the initiative in just practicing quality control. That's it. I personally see some really nice dogs, but I stay away from it because of the blood, because I don't want to bring in the health issues that I know are associated with it. I've worked hard on creating a bully dog with excellent structure, and I'm still working on it. So I try to stay away from certain things for that reason, so that in the long run we can have a better dog.
Right. Okay. Go ahead, David.
Next
Wait,
question.
Vanessa, you wanted to say something? Vanessa, you wanted to say something?
No.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, Damien.
Okay, the next question is, who does a better job promoting the breed? Is it the exotic community or the regular American bully community?
Keep it 100.
No. Okay. So
I'm gonna keep it 100. I always keep it 100. The exotic movement took off the way it took off because those guys are willing to spend their money. When you look at the magazines from 2009 or 10 up until maybe 2 years ago, all the covers were all exotic dogs. They was the only ones that was paying. I mean, people that don't deal with the magazines don't understand that you don't get on the cover because you're the hottest dog in the country. You get on the cover because you're willing to pay for the cover. So those are the dogs that are on the cover. Those are the magazines people be picking up and seeing these dogs on the cover. That's how the movement spread. They're paying professional videographers to come out and do videos of their dogs. So they market better because they're willing to spend the money. And if you're not willing to spend the money, then you should learn how to do these things yourself. But that's bottom line. Those are the ones that are spending the money to market their dogs.
I agree with that, because I mean, like, I pay, someone to take professional pictures of my dogs. I pay to be in magazines. I pay to be in calendars. It's all about, exposure. And if you're not willing to, expose yourself and put your name out there, and that costs money, and it's not even a lot. You can get a photo shoot for like $100, be in the magazine for $200 for a 2-page spread. I mean, it's not that bad. It just, you have to spend a little bit of money. And, I have Modern Day Bully, like that group on Facebook. We have that groups, and the way we do it is, it's for the modern day bully, what the bully looks like now. And what I have noticed is a lot of people that don't like the exotics, they jump on the post and they start talking shit. Like, that dog is, sick or whatever, just, saying ugly things about the dog. And we don't really see too many exotic breeders jumping on, per se, a correct dog and saying, that's not my type of dog. That dog is ugly. That dog, it's like he's played out. You don't ever see anyone saying negative things like that. It's just mostly the people that do not like the dogs, they kind of like to bash the dog.
Well, there's
I'll post it in Debatable,
Well, listen, this is the thing, Vanessa. I like a lot of different exotics. Some of them. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of dogs that are considered exotic that I like. I'm not into all the freaky stuff with the
Yeah,
blades.
I do too. You know
But
that.
this is the thing that you gotta realize. Exotic breeders don't go on posts of people who breed American bullies and stuff like that because then it would really be like hating. But a lot of times, not all the time, a lot of times when somebody goes on a post of one of those dogs is because the dog actually has medical issues that are being labeled as good as. Wait a minute, let me finish. I'm going to everybody. I see that, like I said, I see a lot of exotics that I like. I'm all for it if it's gonna be done, you know, in a healthy way. I don't care either way. I don't breed or sell exotics, but I see a lot of exotic dogs that I do actually like, male and female. So
Right.
I'm for the movement. I don't want you to think that we against the movement. I'm against. This is the thing. When you see a post of a dog, I can't think of none of the dog's name because I don't really follow the movement. I don't want to mention nobody's dog name anyway. But you see a lot of videos. First of all, you see most exotic videos of exotic dogs. The dogs are sitting down, and the video is only a couple seconds long. And you notice that they cut the video right as the dog goes to stand up. That's one issue. The dogs that they do actually allow to stand up, the way they move and the way they're falling over and the way you have to see two people holding them up, I don't think that that's hating or bashing when somebody goes on a post and says something about that. That's health issues, that's genetic issues, that's cruelty issues, if you want to be honest, with a lot of the dogs, not all of them, with a lot of those dogs. So you can't expect that an exotic breeder will go on the post of an American bully breeder and do things like that when there's nothing to talk about. There's the actual issues that people are talking about, and they're being completely ignored because there's more people that find it attractive than not. And I understand market is market, but where does the line get drawn to where you allow the market to control what you're doing when you know it doesn't make any sense? If these dogs can't move, they're dying at a year old, they're dying in 70-degree heat, you have to carry them around. When you take pictures of them, you need two people to hold them up so they can stand up. Where do you draw the line? That's why people go on those posts. So you wouldn't expect that they would go on an American bully post and do that. Go ahead, Vanessa.
Like me personally, I want a dog that can't walk, jump, or you have to have two people carrying it. And I'm not to those standards, you know, like that's just me. And like I said,
right. But as a whole, you know, that's you, and that's why I asked you.
99% of the community is.
Hold on, Tom. That's the reason why I asked you to come on, because I don't want you to feel like you came on here and it was to get like people bashing the exotic community. The reason why I asked you to come on is because I see that you breed different than a lot of the exotic breeders. That's why I asked you, and you're a woman representing the breed. So that's why I asked you to come on. So I don't want it to get like that. I don't want you to feel like we trying to like bash your breed. I'm for the movement as long as people understand.
Talk about my dogs. I'll talk about what I've bred to. But I'm not going to talk about so-and-so's dog that I've never seen in person that might be photoshopped, you know? Like, I mean, I'm not going to say anything about anybody else because, like, I mean, that's their program. And, like, my dogs are like my kids. If you tell me my dog is ugly, I'll be like, man, you ugly too. I mean, that's like calling my kid ugly.
But, I mean, you don't think that that's your responsibility? If you... All right, I mean, I guess it would depend on what you involved in the breed for. Because if you're involved in the breed for longevity and because you like the breed and not just what you can do with the breed, then your mindset is going to be different. So if you just in the breed because you understand that there's monetary gain, you're going to make money doing this, then you're really not going to have a concern for those medical issues and dogs dying and stuff like that. But if you like exotics and you saying, I want to be around this breed, I like this breed, I love this look, I want to be around this and I want it to last. Because how can it last when so many dogs are dying so early? So many dogs can't move. I mean, we had a vet on here and she said, we had a vet that came on here and she said that a lot of breeders and I don't see these things in your dogs, so that's why I asked you to come on here. But a lot of the breeders that have the dogs with the crazy legs and the messed up rears and they limping around and they falling over, she said she actually says something to them about it, and they don't care. They do the breeding anyway, and if that's what they want to do, I mean, she has no right to tell them no. You know, so when go ahead.
That's not either. Like, to be honest, like, I'm an animal lover. I love my dogs. I take very good care of my animals. I don't want to see them hurting. I mean, like, if you know your dog isn't healthy, your dog has, issues, has joint issues, your dog is in pain. Like, that's you as a person. Like, why would you contribute? Why do you want to make your animal suffer? Like, that's just you being a shitty person. Like,
and don't get it wrong. There's people that breed American bullies that do the same thing. Their dogs in the same type of condition.
I've seen
have the same flaws.
Frenchies, like, you see these Frenchies, like, people, like, I have to stop myself from commenting. Sometimes I'm like, what are you saying? Like, I just say I'm not gonna be that person that's like, talking crap. If I'm their friend, I usually just unfriend them. But I mean, I see it's in all of it, and it's not even only in the bully breed. My vet says that she sees, messed up dogs all the time. It all comes down to, like, what kind of person do you want to be?
Pretty much.
Be that person.
Any breed, not just exotics, because like I said, there's plenty of American bullies that have the same issues that exotics have, if not worse. So I don't want it to be like that. We just want to understand, because we always talk about bullies every week. We talk only about bullies. We had Frenchies on one time, but I want the exotic breeders to feel like they have a voice too. Like, if you're an exotic breeder and you're against certain things and you want to come on, or if you want to come on and talk about why the features that they like about the exotics, what it is about it that they like, and what it is that they plan to do about it, if anything. I don't care. I mean, we want to come on and come together. The community is the community, whether it's exotic or bully. It's all one community. So,
I mean, like, to me, it just comes down to, like, like I said, like, what kind of person are you? Are you gonna be that person that that this dog, is, like, not healthy? I mean, you see people all the time breeding dogs with Demodex. You see them breeding dogs with skin issues. I see bully breeders do that all the time. If you come to my house to breed and I see your dog has a bunch of pimples all over it, I'm not gonna breed to that dog. I have, like, stayed away from certain bloodlines because of they carry that in their, they're known for that.
Right.
So I mean, it's just, like, basically, what kind of person are you? Are you just doing it because everybody else is doing it, or are you doing it because you like it?
Right.
I mean, I bred to Deuce because I like Deuce. I bred to Macchiato because I like Macchiato. I bred to Premium Label because I like that dog. Like, if I breed to your dog, it's not only because I know I'm going to be able to sell it, it's because I like, what you're offering. Right. It's not just, oh yeah, I can sell this real quick. Because in the long run, I have to be proud of my productions. Doesn't matter if everybody else is happy with my productions. If I don't see that dog in the future and think, damn, why did I sell him? Then I'm doing something wrong. So it just comes down to basically, like I said in the beginning, how you carry yourself, how you market yourself, and how you take care of your business. And that doesn't matter what you're breeding. You can be breeding hamsters, and if you carry yourself like a shitty person and you act bad, then that's just how you're gonna be.
Don't go sleep over there, boy.
Mom.
Go ahead, Damien.
Do I need to stay on for the whole time? Because I'm hungry and, like.
It's cool. We just want to just. Hey, listen, you can leave. Just let us know whenever you want to leave. We let you do your sign off, shout out, whatever. You know what I'm saying? And then, we'll keep it going.
Well,
so whenever you're ready.
I've ever been, on any of this, like I said before, like, I mean, I usually stick to myself. You know, I have a little circle of people that I'm cool with or whatever, but I usually stick to myself. I've just found out in life in general, like your life is a lot easier whenever you're
A lot easier. You got a small little tiny circle and you keep it that way.
Yes.
Every now and then you might add a person to the circle, but they gotta pass the whole week. But whenever you're ready, just let me know, and then we'll come to you. You can do your shout out, or if you're
Yeah,
ready
I'm
to go
gonna go
now.
eat right now. I can
Okay.
come back on in a little bit if you want me to, but I'm
You
gonna go.
could. You could.
I'm
You
gonna
can
go.
either sign off, or hang up, and just come back to that same invite,
Yeah.
or you can mute it and just dead your camera. It's up to you. It doesn't matter.
I think I'll sign off and I'll come back. What time
Okay.
is it?
It's 10 o'clock, so we're gonna be on till 11.
Okay. Well, it's 9 o'clock here. Okay. Well, I guess
All
I
right.
can go ahead and just, say bye in case I don't come back.
Okay. Go ahead. Do your thing. Give your shout out.
To who? Myself.
Whoever. Tell them who you are again. What's the name of your channel?
Again, I'm Vanessa Cordova, Space City Frenchies and Swap Bullies. That's it. I mean,
All right.
I
I
am.
just
All right. I appreciate you coming on.
Thanks for coming on and thanks for being so honest with everything. And we appreciate you. Keep doing your thing.
Thank
Keep
you.
breeding these healthy dogs.
I was a little nervous. I've never done anything like this, so I was just don't even know what to say.
Nah, it's okay. You did good. We appreciate you, man. You was a good sport. Anytime and any other breeders, like I said, I want to come on and represent your breed or your bloodline or whatever, you're more than welcome. So if you want to come back, you can come back. If not, I'm going to try to get an all-girl panel. Just have all-female breeders, but it's hard because everybody's always doing something, especially on Fridays. So one of these days we'll get it. We'll get it done.
Yeah, I mean that would be cool.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye.
Damien, we got any questions over there?
Yeah, they basically said you guys had an interesting argument last week about wanting to improve the breed in the phrase "it is what it is." With that being said, I understand both parties. Some of you feel that the breed is going to continue to evolve on its own, and there's really nothing you can do to affect it. And then some of you feel differently. But can Tony explain his position a little more in depth on the issue, on correcting the issue? Do you remember what you said, Tony?
What, about breeding towards the standard and the show ring and all that?
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I feel that everybody has their vision. Everyone, what identifies a line and a program is a certain look, a certain style of dog. But at the same time, because the standard is open for interpretation. So you want to create your own look and your own style, but you still want to breed towards a standard. First, you have to understand what proper canine anatomy is. So as soon as you learn, what the canine anatomy and what is correct, the better off you'll be. So, and then you start to study the breed and the standard of the registry that you're representing. In the American Bully, pretty much all the standards are the same. They might have a little differences, but the outcome will be the same kind of dog. And you just have to stick to that. And the breed will evolve. If you stick to doing a certain thing, you will see the breed gradually change. If you look and you look at the German Shepherd, and let's just say we start in the 1920s, and we go all the way up to present day, and you look at all the dogs, all the champions, you can gradually see the dogs changing from period to period, and just how it just starts to evolve slowly and change. With our breed, it's just all over the place. So, because everybody's kind of doing their thing. They have that mentality, I'm going to do me, I'm going to breed towards what's hot. And things are constantly changing. No one sticks to to a vision. No one has a vision. Very few people have a vision. And that's why you see people that have been in a breed, and this breed, they've been around for 15 years, yet they don't have their own bloodline. So how can you be involved with a breed for 15 years and you have done nothing in that time? Because you got guys, they buy a bunch of dogs that are popular, they try to make some money, then another fad comes around, things switch up, they get rid of all their dogs, and they start acquiring dogs from, from other people's yards of what's popular and what's selling today. And it really doesn't, in any other breed, it doesn't happen that way. I've never seen such change come so quick, and the breed just being everywhere. Just there's a million different looks with the American Bully.
Yep. I mean, basically, all of that is correct. And I guess what they misunderstood by me saying it is what it is me saying that you just go with the flow and do what everybody else is doing. And that ain't what I'm saying. I'm just saying sometimes you have to take things for what they are and not worry about it. If you live in a neighborhood and all your neighbors are Slavs, you don't say it is what it is and then go and be a Slav. You say it is what it is. You just have to accept it for what it is. But I'm going to keep my stuff clean. I ain't worrying about what they doing. So when I say it is what it is, no, I mean the person who asked the question. So when I say it is what it is, I don't mean just go ahead and do what everybody else is doing. I'm just saying sometimes we can't, some things you just can't change. You can't change who a person is no matter how hard you try. So you just have to do you and, hope that everybody else gets it together. If your brothers and sisters are all delinquent, that doesn't mean you have to be one.
Right.
Go ahead, Damien.
Okay, it says, can you guys put this in the scope for me? Oh, what? Sorry for the feedback.
I didn't hear it.
Okay. It says, can you guys put this in the scope for me? Really interested in going to my first dog show. I got a really awesome dog that everybody compliments me on. But due to the fact that I've listened to you shows as well as some other sources, and there seems to be a lot of negative association with the show ring. In a few short sentences, can you guys put into scope for me what it is actually like to go to a show and show a dog?
Well, Tony got cut off, so I'll go until he gets back on. Hopefully he'll get back on. There you go. He didn't hear the question, Damien. So when I'm finished, then just read it again so he could. For me, my first couple shows, if you're really excited about it and you're really into it, you're not gonna sleep through the whole night. You might sleep an hour or two. A lot of traveling, you're excited going, and it's fun going, the long rides and everything, but coming back is miserable, whether you win or not. It's fun. It's a long day. I'm just being honest. I'm not gonna just only say like, yo, it's so much fun. It's a long day. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of driving, and it can be very rewarding depending on what you're going to the show for. If you only go to the show just to win ribbons and you don't win, then. But if you going to network and you going to show your dog and actually show your dog to the people, because you can't base your success in your yard on just what the judges say, because bottom line is the consumers are the people who are at the show. So if they feeling your dog, it doesn't really matter if you want to lose it. So you can't just put all your focus on that. So it depends on what you're going for. But it's a lot of driving, it's a lot of money, it's a lot of waiting around, it's a lot of fun, it's a lot of meeting people that you talk to all the time on Facebook. It's a lot of seeing people that you don't really like. It's no different than nothing else. So they wanted to know what the show, what the show, going to the show, the whole experience is like. They never been, they want to go, but they want to know like what the whole experience is like, I guess.
All right. Well, I mean, and they're showing a dog as far as showing a dog also?
Yes, there will be showing.
Yeah, I mean, it could be tiring and stressful. Like you say, you're going to be anxious the night before. You probably won't sleep much. At least I don't, you know. For me, I'm usually showing a couple dogs at one time. So if I'm going on a trip, I'm going to make the most of it. I'm going to take a couple dogs. So you got to get the dogs ready. You got to bathe them. You got to bath. You got to get everything set up, all your stuff. If you're bringing tents and chairs, you got to get all that stuff. Get your whole car packed. You know, it's tiring. It's tiring depending on where it is. You're traveling far. If it's a local show, if you're fortunate enough for it to be a local show, then great. But usually for us, it's a long drive home. You're driving hours. You're driving 8, 9 hours after a long day. Or yeah, sometimes you got to stay and then you make the trip home the next morning or whatever. So. But it's great. You get to meet a lot of new people. You get around, talk. You get to see a lot of dogs that you probably see on social media and that you like and admire. You get to see them in person. And that's about it, man. I mean, it's fun. It's definitely fun, but it's tiring at the same time.
Yep.
Okay. Next question is, I'm assuming it's gonna be from Lawrence, because it's a pocket question. It says, I've been watching the show, went back and seen you had an argument, well, not really an argument, I guess it was a disagreement, with someone who, about breeding a standard to a pocket and producing pockets.
Right.
In your opinion, is there any other formula to the pockets besides pocket to pocket that will work? And I know pretty much genetically, dogs, I mean, I guess they're trying to say standards can throw pockets. But in your opinion, has that ever worked, standard to a pocket and produce all pockets?
Okay. Hold on. I mean, I'm going to turn my camera on in a second, but genetics is genetics, and it's common sense. I mean, you have standard dogs that can throw pockets, and you have pocket dogs that can throw standards, but that's because they came from dogs that were of pockets and standards. If you're taking two dogs that, if you're taking a standard to a pocket, you're going to get a mix of pocket and standards. You're not going to get all of one, okay? Or you might get one pocket and a bunch of standards. But even that pocket, since it came out of a litter with all standards, you still won't get standards out of that dog. So if you want pockets, you have to breed generations of pockets. You can't just, even two pockets from, if you got two pockets from different litters, from different dogs, from different breedings, they're both pockets, but they have standards in the litters, you can still get standards out of those two pockets too. You have to have generations of pockets behind your dogs if you want to produce all pockets. Clone?
Yeah, he said that question was for you. What's that supposed to mean, Damien? I got more pockets than Lawrence has.
Yeah, remember, Tone got 1,000 dogs over there.
Yeah, I was supposed to say, you have like a military camp, Tony. You have a little bit of everything. Tanks,
yeah,
tractors.
That's why you asked me, because I only breed pockets, Smarty.
Yeah. I mean, our objective as American Bully breeders is to breed a short dog. I mean, even a 17-inch dog, It's
That's
just,
the thing. That's the thing. I'm glad you said that. Because me and him was talking about that the other day. I ain't mean to cut you off, but
nah, look.
dudes be lying so much about how tall their dogs are. I don't know if it's because they don't know or they just like to lie. Because if you got a 17 and a half inch dog and you telling me that this dog is 14 and a half inches tall, you're a liar. Either that or you don't know what the hell you're doing. A lot of people think 17 inches is big because you got people who got 19-inch dogs saying that their dogs are 16 or 17 inches tall. So when you see me telling you that my dog is 17 inches, your mind automatically going to think of it as a big dog. 17 inches doesn't even come anywhere near my knee. So people just assume because they hear 17 inches that it's a big dog, and it's not. When you getting into 19, 20, 21 inches, that's when you're talking about big dog. 17 inches is not a big dog.
And it's all about proportion. If you have a 17-inch dog with the correct proportion, man, that's a beast of a dog. It's going to look like a tank. So I mean, that's what I like. I like my range of dogs. My dogs, my American bullies, they all range from 14 inches to about, I'd say my tallest I ever get is 18, but that's tall. But usually my dogs right now are like 14 to 17 inches, man. Maybe 17 and a quarter. That's what I like to stay. I like to stay 17 and a half and under.
This dog is 17 inches. Right? Come here, boy. Come on. Faster, faster. Come on, come on, come on, come on.
And he's short. You see him in person, man, he's a tank. The video doesn't do no justice.
Stay there. Come here. That's my knee right here. And this is a 17-inch dog.
Stand next to him because it looks like your knee is.
Come here. Stay right here. Look at how high my knee is. I'm 6'3". Stand up, folks. I'm 6'3". Look at how much higher my knee is than the dog. He's 17 inches tall, man. Don't be looking at my bony little knees, y'all. But that's a 17-inch dog. That's a 13 and a half. That's an almost 14-inch dog. So when people telling you 14 inches and that big dog is way bigger than this dog right here, I mean, that's ridiculous, man. That's nowhere near what these dudes be saying is a 14-inch dog. Their dogs are way bigger than that. So people lying on the internet about the height of their dogs, when you hear that 14 inches, you think it's 16 inches is 14 inches, and it's not. People telling you their dogs are 10 inches and 12 inches. I have one downstairs from PBK. It's real 12-inch female. And these dogs that they saying is 12 inches are way bigger than this dog. So, I don't know. Go ahead, Damien.
Oh, sorry, didn't unmute. Okay, next question will be, again, this is about showing. It's a follow-up question. They want to know, as a novice and a newbie to the show ring, I've gotten advice to wear proper attire and comfortable shoes. What else advice would you give someone? Since I'm going to the bully show in Georgia tomorrow. In Atlanta, I'm assuming.
I hope you ain't buy no new shoes, because your feet going to be on fire by 3 o'clock. You better put some shoes on that you already wore and they already used to your feet. Make sure you get enough sleep if you can. As far as attire, I mean, depending on the show and like if it's nationals, of course you want to dress up, but you want to dress comfortable. You know, you don't want to dress all hip hop, and you don't want to be too dressy. You're gonna be there all day long. You know what I'm saying? You want to just dress presentable. How you would dress if you was going, you know, out to the park or something, not out to the club and not outside hanging out with your homies. But don't wear no new shoes. I'm telling you that right now. I don't care if they Nikes, Timbs, or dress shoes. Do not wear no new shoes to no talk show, because your feet will be on fire by 3 o'clock.
Yeah. Yeah. Another thing is, man, make sure you have all the supplies you need. If you're showing, make sure you have all your stuff, your brushes.
Bring your bowls, bring water, bring rolls of paper towels in the case your dogs pee or something like that in the cage, and you ain't gonna have nothing to clean them up with. The little brown towels don't work. Bring your own roll of paper towels.
And don't feed your dog late at night. Feed your dog earlier in the day before. That way your dog is emptied out and doesn't have a bunch of food, because if you have your dog out and around, and a lot of guys feed their dogs, they end up going to the bathroom in their ring, they end up throwing up. You know, you got to realize it's a lot of stress for a dog. Dogs moving around a lot, stomachs cramping stuff. So you want your dogs, for me, their last meal is the day before. And I do it earlier in the day. That way by that time, they don't have a whole lot of food in their stomach. And my dogs don't go to the bathroom in the building. They don't have upset stomachs. They don't throw up. None of that.
Mm-hmm. Trying to think of what else they're going to need. Make sure you got your show leads, because you might find one, but it might not be what you want. Get there early, set up. You don't want to wait until the show's supposed to start trying to get in because everybody going to be coming in. You want to try to get there.
If it's an outdoor show, which the one in Georgia is, you want to make sure you bring a tent for shade because you gotta realize you're going to be out there in the heat. The dogs are going to be out there with the sun shining directly on them. If you don't have a tent, man, you're going to be in some trouble, man. Your dog, you can lose your dog. So make sure you have that, some chairs. That way you can, lounge and chill.
Get there early because if you get there around showtime, even with the outdoor shows, you'll get a crappy ass spot for yourself to park and
right out in the sun, no, right?
no for your tent. So you want to get there early. I usually get there like 7:30, 8 o'clock, and then I just set up and I just wait till people come. I might get in the car and go to sleep or whatever, and just wait for the people to come. But you got to get there early if you want to get a good spot for your tent and the park and all that close to the ring, so you're not running. If you got more than one dog that you're showing and their classes are right behind each other, if you park too far away from the ring, then you got to run back and forth. And by the time you run from your tent with your dog is already all worked up and tired. Now you got to run around the ring, so try to get there early and get your spot close to the ring so you can dip back and forth without doing too much damage to your dogs out there in that sun. Go ahead, Damien.
Okay, this is a question which I think you guys answered already. But it says they've been doing some studying, like you guys recommended, on dog genetics. And one of the things I've come across is a lot of other breeds have a dominant trait, meaning like the German Shepherd, I guess it's the shape of the head, the coat, and things like that. With the American Bully not having one look, do you guys think that they've developed a dominant trait yet?
Yeah, the dominant trait is actually a bad trait, the messed up rears. But I mean, in American Bullies, the dominant trait, man, is I'm kind of being serious. Are the rears, man? It's actually just a bad thing. Other than that. Good traits. We have so many different looks. I would say probably the body mass. I guess I don't know. The head always identifies a breed. That's how you identify a breed. So
I think in general this breed has an identifiable look. Like. When I'm out, people know what it is when they see it. The people that do know about the breed and stuff like that, they know them when they see them. They just know it. I think basically what they know is that it's supposed to look like a thicker version of a pit bull, a big bully. So that's why people recognize them. But any you can make a dominant trait in any breed or any bloodline if you breed the same traits over and over. So. With the German Shepherd, that slope back is one of the dominant traits that they breed for the show dogs, but it's also very bad on the dogs health-wise as far as their spine and their legs and their joints and their nervous systems, the way they breed for that severe slope. So don't get it twisted like exotic breeders or American Bully breeders are the only ones breeding fucked up dogs, because they're not. Look at the difference between the police working dog German Shepherds and the show German Shepherds. It's completely different. The show dogs, Germans, they can't even run or walk or nothing. They have like really weak rears that slope all the way down to the floor, and they have nervous problems with their rears. So King Charles Spaniels, those are Cocker Spaniels. They got genetic issues with skull size and brain size, the ratio, and then that's why they get them epileptic fits and they have to cut half of the skull out. It's any breed. That can happen in any breed. It's not just American Bully or exotic. Go ahead, Damien.
Okay, next question I have. Oh, wow, sorry. Keep getting a lot of feedback on my end. I don't know what's going on.
Nah, we don't hear it. Well, I don't hear it.
Okay. Next question is, do you guys think that the American Bully head size will become a fad like the Pit Bull? When I first got into Pit Bulls, it was always the best thing to have a muscular dog with a huge head. I don't see that so much in the American Bully. Do you guys see that coming back or actually coming to the breed?
I think people still breed for head size. Tony, you muted. I think people still breed for head size. I think that a lot of people are not really concentrating on it anymore because they're realizing that a lot of these guys are lying about the size of their dogs' heads. Because I see it, a lot of dogs that I know, these guys are lying because they saying the dog is 24, 25 inches, and Boss has a real 24-inch head, and that dog's head is nowhere near the size of Boss's head. So people not breeding, and it's the size of the head doesn't matter. It's in proportion. Like if you have a dog that's Phantom's height, where he's under 14 inches, but he has a 23-inch head, that's a big head on a small dog. So it's more proportion-wise. Like the big head contest, they'll put XL against a pocket, and they'll give it to the XL because his head is bigger. His head is supposed to be bigger. He's 7 inches taller than the pocket dog. His head is supposed to be bigger. So, but in proportion to the size of the body, the smaller dog actually has a bigger head. So it's not about the size of the head when you measure it. It's about the size of the head in comparison to the body. You can't have a 25-inch head on a 12-inch dog. The dog won't be able to stand up.
Yeah, I agree with them. But I like to say the pit bull was never bred for the size of his head. The backyard
I think you're talking about the backyard, the hood.
Bred street mutt pit bulls, yes. But as far as the show, it relates to exactly what Lawrence said. It's proportion. That's what those dogs have always been bred for. The pit bull should have a head proportionate to its body. So, and it's the same thing with the American Bully. You want to create, you're striving to produce balance in a dog. The more balanced the dog is, the healthier it's going to be, the better it's going to move. So the head should be proportionate to the body.
Right. When you talk about big head, it should look big proportionate to the dog's body, but not, you can't measure the size of the dog's head and determine if the dog has a big head or not, because a 26-inch head on a 21-inch dog, I mean, if his head is any smaller than that, then he's going to look retarded. You know what I'm saying? So I don't even know why they have those contests. It's ridiculous. If you're going to do it, you're going to have to do it by class. Go ahead, Damien.
Okay, you guys may know this, you may not, but they wanted to know, does the exotic shows have anything that's similar to the junior handlers with the ABKC or the?
Nah, we don't know. We don't.
I don't believe that they do. I don't believe that they do.
The thing is, like, I think they throw shows at the exotic shows, but I don't think the exotic shows are set up as actual shows. I think it's just a showcase. Because, I mean, how can you show something that you have to put on a table and hold up? I don't understand that. But
yeah, they actually do have like a little show for the exotic shows. I know the last IBR show they did, they had a judge show. Because I actually know somebody who went and participated.
Well, if you find a video for that, bring it. We're gonna put it on next week and see, so we can see how that works. Because I never heard of.
I'll ask him if he has any videos or pictures, but I know for sure he participated in the show that they did.
I like video. If you can get video, I'd rather see video than picture.
Okay.
Go ahead.
And let me answer this real quick. Adam Cordova, I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
They answered your question on the first episode of Bully Talk. What traits would you not breed? That's like the first show we did. We covered that, so you can go back and watch that one. Next question is another genetics question. It says, Lawrence, you breed for genotype. When you breed genotype, what are some of the critiques you do to make sure you get that perfect mashup of what you're looking to add to your program?
Well, there's no such thing as perfect when you're breeding dogs. So, you just want to try to. I mean, you're gonna get flaws, especially when you're starting to shrink the dogs down. So you want to just try to focus on. I mean, of course, I like the bullier, shorter dogs, but I still want my dogs to be able to run up and down the stairs and play and do all of that tug of war and stuff too. So, I mean, that's first, but I just try to make sure that I'm lining up the traits, that the desirable traits that I want, and trying not to focus on the undesirable traits. Right now, I haven't really found pocket dogs that I can add to my program for myself, that I found for myself, or maybe that I'm able to acquire that have the rears that I want. But so far, I'm building my dog front to back, and my rears is the main thing that I need to work on. I want to change my heads a little bit, but I just try to focus on the traits, the desirable traits, and try as little as possible to introduce any more of the negative traits that I already have. So, but you're never going to get a perfect dog. If that was the case, then there would be no need for breeders. You would have one guy who has it locked down, and that's it. So, you ain't going to get no perfect dog, Tom.
I mean, you pretty much answered it. I mean, it's, there's no perfect dog. So, I mean, when you're trying to achieve that certain look, you just gotta use what you know and what you have, and assessing the situation on picking the right dog that's going to complement your dog and going to help you achieve what you're striving for. I mean, you could just hope for the best. So
I see a lot of guys, they'll have a female and they'll try to search for a dog that has what they lacking in their program, but I don't think they realize that even though that dog has what you lacking in your program, if it doesn't line up with the traits that your female carries, you're still not going to get those traits. So that's the main thing about putting those together that actually go together. Then you have more consistency in the look of your dog, even though they're not line or inbred. Go ahead, Damien.
You guys kind of answered this question before, but I'll give it to you again because it's asked in a little bit of a different way. It says, do you guys think the price of these dogs affects the popularity, or is it vice versa? The popularity of your dogs affects the price?
Anything you selling is only worth what somebody's willing to pay for it. So if people not willing to pay that much for the dogs, then they're not gonna. That's not how much they're gonna cost. I mean, it's just that simple. The consumer drives the price, and vice versa too. If I stay fast to what I charge for my dogs, and I don't let the market dictate my prices, it could work both ways. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Is that?
Okay. Tony, are you going to touch on that question?
He basically answered it. I mean, I feel like, the popularity of the dog, dictates the price. The popularity, this community is based off of hype. So the more noise somebody creates and the more they market a certain type of dog or that dog, the more they make it seem like there's a demand, even though there's not on a dog. That's all gonna contribute to where the market goes and the price of stuff. So the more of a movement you have, the more people can charge. Because there's a more demand for it. Then it dies out, and then the next movement starts. So
right. I mean, all of those factors work both ways. They can work negative and positive. Sometimes, some people don't follow fast, and you have those people that's gonna ride with you, and that's what I mean about the market. The market is not just one way. The market is broken into sections. It's like the car market. You got foreign cars, and you got sports cars, and you got SUVs, and you got trucks. So you have people that are in the market for SUVs. You got people who need minivans. They got kids and all that. So they're not going to be looking at certain types of cars. It's the same thing with the dogs. Your market, you're not going to try to sell a standard dog to someone who's into pockets, or American Bully to somebody who's in exotics. So you're not gonna go on Texas exotics and start pushing your American Bullies. You're wasting your time. So you need to find your target market. So the market, to say that and just try to lump it in one is you can't do that, because each market is different and each individual is different. Like me and you might be in the same market, but the quality of my product and the way that I market my product is different than the way you market your product. So you may not have success in this market, even though it's your market. People don't think it's that serious. Well, you got to look at it as on a business standpoint if you're going to do it. So you have to look at it like that. You have to understand that you got so much competition around you. So you don't want to waste time and energy focusing on trying to sell your dogs or market your dogs to people who are not interested in your style of dog. Tom?
I already answered it.
Oh, you might have something else to say. Tom?
No, I'm good.
Go ahead, David.
Okay, this is a two-part question. First part is, I went to a show basically, and they said they seen a junior handler with a dog and they had amazing chemistry, and the dog's IQ seemed to be off the charts. Do you think that'll ever be something that highlights that part of the breed within the show?
No. You know why?
Nope.
There's no money in it, so they're not going to focus on it. That's something she will have to focus on and use that as a marketing tool for whatever she gets into in the future in her business. She would use that because people like that. There's a whole group of people who are into these dogs but want a super intelligent dog. So that would be a marketing tool she could use. Like, you got to always be on point and thinking constantly of ways to market yourself. So in her case, that would be a good marketing tool, making videos and pictures with her and her dogs doing all these things that people don't expect these dogs to do. I know exactly what you're talking about. What's her name?
Breed for intelligence. I believe that I try to achieve the complete package, and that's one thing that people that have my dogs will tell you. They have other bullies, and they always say how much of a difference there is in intelligence between my dogs and their dogs. The previous dogs that they have from other breeders. So I try to focus on that, but I don't ever think that'll be something that's showcased with the American Bully. There's plenty other breeds that are super intelligent, but they really don't showcase it. Maybe in some of the obedience trials and something like that, but that's something totally separate. That would have to be something that the registry decides to incorporate into into our community. But I don't see it happening.
Go ahead, Damien.
Okay, second part of the question is, I don't know if you guys have paid attention, but down in Mexico, they seem to be doing some really amazing work with the American Bully, and they come up with some innovative things like tug of war and things like that. Do you guys ever think they would implement something like that, or do you think a vendor would ever bring something like that to the American Bully show?
Well, I think they're doing that with more American Pit Bull Terriers. That's what you're seeing that with. The tug of war, the wall climbing, the treadmill, that's all with the American Pit Bull Terrier. But, that would be great if I'd love something. I've spoke to registry owners about bringing something like that to other registries, but will it happen? I don't know. I'd love to see it, though. But the majority of the community doesn't breed dogs to have the workability. And, a lot of the shows it's hot. You would have to have, an outdoor area for a lot of these events, especially the tug of war, unless you put something down. I guess some kind of carpet. But there have to be a lot of planning, and you have to have the right setup, because most of the American Bullies out there just don't breed that well. They're just not for working. Not saying that there aren't, because there's plenty of us that do breed a bully dog that can still breathe well, but for the majority community, it's not. There wouldn't be any money to be made in that area, and usually you incorporate these things into a show to generate money. That's what the registries do.
Okay, this question is for both of you. It says, got my first American Bully this year. One of the problems I'm having it running into is properly exercising her. I have limited outdoor space. Can you guys recommend some of the things that you would probably do to make sure she gets a proper amount of exercise?
Walker. You know, put a leash on her and come take her for a walk.
You can walk them. You can make a flirt pole. You can play tug of war with them yourself. You know, you can find a neighbor that got a dog that you can take them out with that they can get along and play. I mean, my yard is tiny, but I have like a huge. So I'm gonna tell you, like the field behind my house is like huge, and it stays mowed, and they treat it for pests and all of that. So I'm good, and I take my dogs out there, and I just let them run around out there. You know, besides the walks and the playing that they do with each other. So go ahead, Damien. We got probably about 12 minutes left, so we're gonna do probably well, we'll just ride it out. We're gonna shut it down at 11. Go ahead, Damien.
I think this question was asked before too, but I don't remember what episode. So, Tony and Lawrence, does you guys talked about basically dogs relieving themselves in the ring? Does that have an effect on how they'll be judged in the ring, or is it just pretty much their dogs? You clean it up and move on.
I guess it depends on the judge, but I feel that if it definitely affects the outcome. Now, I mean, if the dog is clearly the best thing there and nothing else comes close, then yes, you have to make the exception and give that dog the ribbon because he's the best representative of the American Bully there. But if there's a situation where you have dogs that are very similar, and they're 2 or 3 dogs that are real good representatives of the breed, then the dog that shits in the damn thing, I mean, you just basically strike yourself out.
I think people don't understand why their dogs are shitting and pissing in the ring.
Right.
I mean, so I see a lot of people walking around in the shows with their dogs, and their dogs are pissing on everything. So to me, I mean, your dog is not house trained if he's doing that, because I think maybe one show out of all of the shows I went to, Boss Pete in the building. But
yeah.
I mean, if your dog is shitting in the ring, it's because a lot of people wait until like a month or 2 weeks before the show to try to get their dog to the desired weight that they want them at for the show. And they pumping them full of all this raw chicken and beef and satin balls and all of that stuff. And the dog can only process and digest a certain amount of protein in a certain amount of hours. A certain amount of whatever you're giving them is only going to process so much, and the rest is waste. Right. So you giving your dog diarrhea. You can't hold. You can't hold diarrhea. You can hold a solid turd longer than you can hold diarrhea. Right. So you gotta.
I think that's one of the lesser things with the whole situation. I think it comes down to the laziness of people, man. I mean, come on. How many times I showed dogs for people? Hey, did you let your dog out? No. Yeah, but the dog.
Yeah, but you can tell by the texture of the poop and the color of the poop that's why.
Right.
If your dog is shitting out yellow liquid and brown liquid poop and it's squirting out his ass, you know what I mean? And he's walking and shitting at the same time, he can't hold it because you trying to pump him too much. And they feed their dogs at the shows because they want them to look more full so they look more bully when they go in the ring. And they're nervous. The dog is hearing all these people and all these dogs barking, they get nervous, and that's why they shit in the ring. So you want to take it. If you know your class is coming up, if they say standard 3 to 6 months, and you know your dog is in the 1 to 2s or in the 9 to 12s, then you want to take them out. You hear that? Your class is up. You take your dog outside and let him do his thing. Bring him back in, put him up. Don't walk him around the show arena all day long, and then you want to try to take him in the ring to work after he's been walking around and standing for hours. So when I'm showing my dog stay in the cage until they go in the ring, if they have to go back in, then they go back in their cages. Once they're done with their class and they have time before the new show starts, I take them outside, or then I'll walk them around a little bit and put them back up. So
Yeah, I agree. I ready the same thing. I mean, out of the ring. Before I go in, I go right outside with always. The dog relieve
Hold on,
itself.
Tony, you're echoing really loud. Hold on.
Yeah. So I let the dog relieve themselves, and also, like I said, I stop. I don't feed my dog the night before or the day of. My dog will get fed either the morning the day before or midday. That way, it's not carrying a whole lot of food in his stomach. So that's another contributing factor to my dogs. And my dogs are house trained. I mean, my dogs are kennel dogs, and they don't go marking everything up. You know, dog just marking everything up just shows that you don't spend the time with your dog. You put no kind of effort in training your dog or showing it love or anything. Because if my dogs that are kennel dogs can walk into a building and don't shit and piss all over the place and piss on people's cages and on their banners and stuff, then why can't a dog that's raised in a house? So
I saw a dog straight piss on another guy's leg while the guy was standing there talking to him.
I mean, seeing dogs piss on other dogs, man, it's crazy. And others think nothing about it. It just shows that you're a dirty SOB yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Go ahead, David.
Next question says, Lawrence, you said something on a previous show about posting a feeding plan for Raw. Have you ever gotten around to making that up and posting it, or am I just missing it?
A feeding plan? No. Well, I have a video. Oh, I think I know what they're talking about. I actually have to still get with Andy on that, but I don't. What are they talking about as far as recipe goes?
Recipe and schedule. I think you said you feed certain days and then skip or something like that.
Well, that's just because of the way my dogs are genetically built. If I feed them every day, they get too fat. Like my dogs, the mass that they carry, the bone that they carry, and the body that they carry, it doesn't. I'm not overfeeding my dogs to get them like that. My dogs don't eat every day because if I did that, they would get too overweight. So when I see them start getting overweight, I cut back. But I feed my dogs normal amounts of food. My dogs only eat once a day when I do feed them. You know what I mean? So it's not. The regimen that I feed them on has nothing to do with the way they look. It's genetics. You just feed them the genetics. You can't feed a dog to look a certain way if they're not bred to be that way. So, I mean, it's not no real regimen I could put up because it wouldn't benefit you if your dogs are not genetically the same way my dogs are. Your dogs may require more calories to maintain their weight. You know what I mean? So, or less calories. I don't know. So I can't really put a regimen together for something that I don't know what it is.
And they said, yeah, the recipes as well, because you guys spoke about that on the episode with Andy, and then I guess Andy probably forgot about it.
There's no real recipe to the raw. The raw is a basic makeup. You have to have. I don't know what the percentages is, if that's what they mean, but it's basically it has to have bone, muscle, organ, and fat. That's the makeup of the raw. And then they add the tripe to aid in digestion, and then the tripe still has vegetation left in it and all. I don't feed my dogs any vegetables, but I feed kibble, and whatever they're not getting from the raw, they get from the kibble. So it's all about availability too. If you live in an area where you can't get that, then it won't make a difference. Like I can't tell you what to go in the store and buy to make it because there's stuff in the raw that you can't get. It's pretty much just leftover stuff from slaughterhouses. So, but it's just in the percentages. You wouldn't be able to go and buy the stuff to make it like that. And ground beef, I saw somebody put up the other night. Ground beef is not raw diet. Ground beef is actually bad for your dogs. Really high in fat, and it has a lot of grease and oil and stuff in it, and it's already really soft. The gut doesn't have to work to digest it. So, ground beef is not raw diet. Go ahead, Damien. This is the last one, and we're gonna get out of there.
All right, last one. I'm assuming they're wanting to know if you guys will ever own another dog besides bullies as a pet, because you guys have already discussed if you chose another breed, what would it be before? But they want to know what other dogs are you into, and would you ever own another dog as a pet, another breed type?
I was always into Rottweilers and Pit Bulls at the same time. I wouldn't own any more Rottweilers. It's too big. It's a lot of dog, a lot of feeding, a lot of issues with people that they don't know and stuff like that. But I have another breed. I got a Boston Terrier that's like 17 years old. He just won't get old. He's just here. But he's been here. I got him. He's almost 17 years old. So you muted.
There it is. I was trying to get the. I'm muted. I mean, I had bull terriers. I got rid of them. But I like bull terriers. My first breed was Akitas, so I really love Akitas. So I like a lot of different breeds. I like Rottweilers. I like various Mastiff breeds. I like Shepherds. It's hard to say, you know. I mean, I would definitely own other breeds. That's
If I moved somewhere where I had a lot of property, like Tone got, then I probably would get a guardian breed. I don't know which one. It would have to be something that I would be okay with my son.
Right.
But I would probably do that if I lived someplace where like I had a lot of property to worry about.
I mean, that's what I'm going through now. I've been contemplating getting, like, you know, a more protective breed. But I just don't know which way I want to go, because I got to make sure that I can fully trust the dog with my, you know, with the kids, the family. And you also have to worry about trusting it with other dogs, because some of these breeds are also dog aggressive. So you need a breed that's very versatile, that can protect but is not going to be aggressive towards the bullies. So, you know, the Akitas are awesome. I love the Akitas. I hate their shedding. They're an extremely loyal dog, but I hate the shedding. And they can be, you know, aggressive towards other animals.
And people too. Some of them dogs are like one owner dogs.
Well, they are. They're with the family, but I mean, that's your point in having a guardian, you know, a breed, you know, to protect. I mean, you know, if I got something like that, it's to protect my family. So I don't want anybody outside the family being able to get close, you know, to the dog.
Well, you own the Akitas. I heard this. You can tell me if it's true or not. I heard back when I owned Rottweilers, I wanted to get a Japanese Akita because that's an awesome looking dog. But I was doing some reading, and it said that you might buy the dog for yourself, but those dogs pick who they attach to, and they may not get along with other people in your household except that person. Maybe your dog.
I didn't encounter that. Usually, if you raise them from a puppy, they usually grow attached to the whole family. They know who their family is, and they don't like anybody outside of that. And usually Akitas, I mean, they're very protective, but they don't do a whole lot of barking. They just strike, you know. So they're an excellent breed. They're extremely intelligent if bred properly. You know, of course, you got to go to the right breeder, because you can lose these important traits of the breed, you know, from one breeder to the next. So, but overall, the breed it's nice. I just hate the shedding. I hate the shedding, and I'm telling you, man, they could be extremely aggressive towards other animals, man. They do not like other dogs.
One more quick question. Do you guys ever see yourselves becoming a double dog kennel? Like a lot of people are doing bullies and Frenchies, or shorty bulls and Frenchies, that type of thing?
Don't.
I mean, I had bull terriers and bullies, so, but I mean, not really. I love what I have, man. I just, you know, I just want to focus on that, man. Whenever you have multiple breeds, it's hard to manage. It's hard to manage everything, and it's hard to stay focused and be good at what you're doing, if that makes any sense. You know, usually people that are breeding multiple breeds are just you know, doing it for the money, man. And I mean, not in all cases, but most cases it is. For me, I had the bull terriers. Bull terriers are a handful. And I found it hard because I'm such a perfectionist. I found it so hard to be able to manage two breeds, you know, breeding towards a standard and trying to create that ideal dog, you know, to represent that breed. So it was just too much, man, and I let the bull terriers go, man. They're a handful anyway. So
I don't think I would do it only because you gotta be realistic when you do that. It's easy. It sounds easy, like, oh, I'm gonna just do two breeds, but you gotta realize if you're doing it right, you have to keep those breeds separate. So in order to do that, you have to do everything twice. Unless you just don't care and you let all your dogs out at the same time, that's how you get the mixing and all of that accidental breedings and not realizing dogs gonna eat. So when you do two different breeds, you got to do everything twice. And then you're doing breedings with one breed and you're doing breedings with the other breed. You might have 3 females in this breed and 2 females in this breed. You got 5 litters going. I mean, it's a lot. It's not easy.
yeah.
And then you keep your productions before you know it, especially with small breed dogs. You'll have 30 dogs running around your house.
The thing
Because
is,
you're trying to maintain both populations so you can keep both programs going. You can't do it with 2 or 3 dogs. So you end up with 20, 30 dogs running around your house.
yeah. And remember, you got to keep, to be a successful breeder, you have to keep your productions. You got to keep a certain amount of them. If you look at any of us, we keep dogs, and as they go, the puppies get older, we get rid of some dogs. And it doesn't mean that they're bad dogs. It's just we are looking for certain dogs that complement, you know, another dog that we have so that we pair them up for a future breeding. So people that have multiple breeds, how are they possible? Most people don't have big yards. They don't have an ideal kennel set up to be able to house all these animals. So you see guys will keep one dog. They pick the puppy, they sell everything off. And that's cool if you end up with one puppy at the end. But to start off with just, hey, I'm just going to keep this one puppy, and you're making a pick at 2 weeks old, you can't possibly be successful because then you're stuck with what you have. You understand? You're stuck with a lemon. If it turns out to be a lemon, you're stuck with that lemon, and then you're still breeding that dog. So
yeah, that's why I try to keep 2 or 3 puppies out of each litter, and then
as they go, we sell them. And it's not that they're bad. Like people understand, like, oh, why are you selling that puppy? Nothing, because just this puppy has ideal traits that I'm looking for that are going to complement this other dog that I have plans for. At least that's how I do it, you know.
I kept 3 females out of my last litter, and
yeah,
then I sold 2 of them, and they both badass. You see them on Facebook all the time. They both badass. Just one, I had more of what I was looking for than the other. So that's why I decided on that in the end. But I kept 3 females. My litter before that, I kept 2 females. Litter before that, I kept 2 females. So you got to keep your stuff. But it's 11:06. Once again, we appreciate all the viewers, man. You guys that hang out with us every week, man. Yeah, I want to come on. Like I said, you see Vanessa stepped up. We appreciate her. Being brave and coming and talking about it, even though she didn't know what to expect. She was a good sport. As you can see, everybody's not into exotics, but nobody jumped down her throat or try to make her feel bad or nothing like that. So if you want to come on, come on. We'll be back Friday, 9 o'clock, hopefully. Everybody on time. Just want to give a shout out to everybody that listened. Give a shout out to my raw dude. Want to give a shout out to my homie Hailey. You know, like I said, everybody that listened. All the new listeners, thank y'all for tuning in. Tone?
Yeah, I just want to thank everybody. Thanks, Damien, man, for doing such a great job. Thanks, everyone, for submitting your questions. Just everybody out there listening, thank you, and just hope everyone has a great weekend.
Damien?
No, thank y'all for letting me participate. See y'all for next Friday.
Hey, I just want to say thanks too, Damien, because I know you've been sick and you've been having your issues and stuff, and you still rock out with us. Don't think that I don't know this, you know what I'm saying? So I appreciate that. Um, we'll be back, like I said, Friday. I'll try to get guests on. We may have the doc back on. I don't like to announce guests because at the last minute people start doing stuff, and then everybody's like, "Oh, this person's coming," and then they don't come. So most of the time it'll be the day of. But I'm working on getting some other voices besides just American Bullies. So we'll see you guys Friday, 9 p.m. Bully Roundtable. We out.